Hey everyone, we're here. Or maybe just my smile is here for a few awkward seconds before I begin to speak. It's me, your friend Frank. I'm here doing a March Madness thing well into March. It's like it's the 16th. I don't know when March Madness really begins. I think it was like a day ago, or maybe like a couple days from now, or maybe at the beginning of March. I don't really know. We're not sports people. We're non-productive. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, look, it's little Timmy, and it's Leroy, and it's um. Those are the only two names I could pull off the top of my head. Only two names, Timmy and Leroy. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm here to talk about our March Madness, our Geek March Madness. This year, or maybe just this month. We seem to be doing these more than once a year. To give you some context, it's a bracket style competition where different things are pitted up against each other until we find out the best example of that thing of all time. It's deeply scientific, deeply, deeply scientific. It's all real science, folks. This is the stuff that got us on the moon. And speaking of the moon, the subject for this time is best spaceship. Yes, that's what we're doing. Best spaceship. Yeah, yeah. And to help me with this, I have a very special guest, your friend and mine. Well, mostly my friend. I don't know about all of you. I can't possibly know whether you all know and are friends with this person. That would be unreasonable and really just, I think, a little bit more than is fair to ask of me. But my friend, the one, the only, as far as I know, again, I have not done a census of the entire world, Richard Milhouse Winkler. Hey, Rick! How you doing, Rick?
Let's get this over with. I need to ride off this planet.
Yes, yes. The theme of our little competition. Let's first of all let's get uncomfortably close to one another because we have cool backgrounds, but let's just get zoom right in there.
Much better.
Much better.
Or worse. You can see more of me.
Much worse. Yes, we the aged, the elderly have come here to do the unsportsmanlike. Have come here to narrate a March Madness seeding round competition. All that I'm going to explain in a minute because who's here if not for long-winded explanations from people who just don't care.
Or don't understand.
Yeah, we are barely probably like 3 minutes into this and we already got our first comment. I'm just here to tell you how wrong you are with everything. Thank you.
That's not news.
Dave. That's absolutely true. Wonderful. Yes, so the context for everyone who is new to this, we have been doing regular geek focus March Madness competitions for years now. A few of them actually good, most stupid, and this may be our stupidest yet. I can't tell. Is this too awkward or should I go back out here? This is feeling weird, right? Like it feels like it's too. All right, I don't know. I'm gonna. So this is probably our stupidest one yet. It's because I gesticulate like a Frenchman, like oh, especially. It's the only accent you could do now, and not get arrested.
Indeed.
What was I saying? What other old man thing was I shaking my fist at the clouds?
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Does it matter?
It doesn't matter. We've been doing March Madness competitions for years and years and years and years. And they're usually a lot of fun. Sometimes they're a great way to shed light on an important issue. And then occasionally, more often than not, we ask our audience to help contribute. What do you want us to talk about? And you morons picked Best Spaceship, which doesn't sound like the stupidest idea in the world, but it's pretty much the dumbest idea in the world. We already got complaints. What? Yeah, I'm just going to put a couple up on the demands for invites on the next show. That's not going to happen. Get to the spaceships. We will. And the food one was a disaster, mainly because everyone, myself included, has no taste. Great. Thank you. At least you're being self-aware. Yeah, our last one was best dessert. And as I was telling Rick right before we went on the air, I spent most of the competition angry at whoever it was that nominated Bazooka Joe gum. first as a dessert, and then as best dessert, and it got further along the competition than I would have expected.
I mean, do we know where it came from? This may have come from like a really, really sad person. That may have just been the highlight of their life.
Yeah, and that was almost more upsetting. It was like, oh, I don't want to judge this person because maybe they have some
But you will.
But I did for like an entire month, just judge the hell out of them. It's not even Bazooka Joe Gum for those of you who, and I know many of you tried and true non-pro fans are like, we really did not want to have to go through this again. We didn't expect all this dessert food in our spaceship competition, but you're going to listen. Bazooka Joe Gum is not even good gum. It's not only is it not good a dessert, it's not good gum. That's not a controversial statement. It's just true.
I gotta wonder, did Moon Pie make it into that competition?
Moon Pie made it in and got decently far.
Okay.
Moon Pie got it in decently far. The winner of that competition was a brand of ice cream that was not nominated by anyone. So it's a long story. It's all in our fan club. But I'm not mad at Strawberry Sundae Eclair. They're good ice cream. I love them. But like Fudgy the Whale was in this competition. Cookie Puss. Those are two Carvel treats right there that are a wonder. Anyways, we're getting lost in the weeds. Best spaceship. There's so many people upset in the comments. I can't put them all up. Yes, best spaceship.
We're doing our job right.
Yeah, no, that's it. This is how sports commentary works. We opened up the, like I said, the subject matter to for people to pick. I think our own fan club member Dave was the one who nominated best spaceship. It got the most votes. We went for it. Best spaceship. We opened up nominations for everyone for quite a while, for at least a week. And we even had rules for nominations that literally almost no one followed, including Rick.
Especially.
Yes, especially dozens and dozens of nominations. You were supposed to be limited to 5. But for the most part, we managed to take your stupidity and bad life choices and cobble together a competition that made sense.
Wait, mine or everybody's?
Everyone's, a collective, like, gestalt stupidity. And we put together a thing that makes sense. I think we had somewhere north of 100 nominations. We eliminated all the misspellings. Then we had like 3 nominations. Then we went back and cross-referenced and realized we are not good at counting. We had somewhere near 100 different spaceships that were nominated. And we did a round called seeding. Now, Rick, you are an athlete.
Say what?
You are an athlete. It was liquid butter you were drinking. just gotta soothe up my throat.
Whatever it is, it's not strong enough. But okay, fine. Let's just call me an athlete.
Sure, you have been to.
I don't have the energy to argue that.
Too tired. I'm too tired to whatever. It's gonna. Do you know what seeding rounds are in a March Madness competition?
If there's no follow-up questions, yes.
Good. Done. All right. I'm assuming everybody else also knows. So we put these out to seed to figure out who the best seeds are and who the lowest seeds are, so we could fight them against each other. Because apparently that's what happens. Like the best of the best go up against the worst of the worst. And boy, do we have a wide selection of all of them. I'm going to do a quick data. First of all, please, everyone else. I don't know why I said first of all. We've been doing this for 15 minutes. Everyone, please comment in the chat. Please, not only does it make me feel like I've done something with my life, but more importantly, I want to know some of these usernames of the people watching, because there are certain people in this competition I would like to show the data to, because I know there are data nerds in here that are going to go nuts for this. Let me quickly share my screen. Yes, this is a PowerPoint presentation, and scroll through. These are all our nominations, and this is the spread on some of these ships. It's deeply interesting. And of course, immediately after we closed nominations for a week, people complained that they didn't get a chance to nominate their favorite ship, but they could all go straight to hell. I don't have the full comment. I'm going to put this up. I'm not passionate about snack foods and spaceships because I know Anything? Oh yeah, that's right. I've parsed that correctly. Yeah, no one here who's going to be arguing about what their favorite snack food is also a sports person. Okay, so I guess we can do this. This might be alphabetical. Is this alphabetical? Wow, this is alphabetical, but those are also in there, so it's not right. I think what we're gonna do is go through. Rick and I are gonna go through all the ships that were in the seeding round. Talk a little bit about them if we can, because this might be. I mean, for all but 64, this might be the last time we talk about any of these vessels, and we should honor them for making it this far. Does that sound fair, Rick?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. First ship is Alf ship from Alf.
Yeah, I don't remember how much screen time it got in the show. I think we did see a little bit of it. My favorite reference to that ship was in an episode where I think, and this is like one of the two episodes I remember. The daughter, I forget her. Doesn't matter what her name
Daughter.
is.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
We have to spend like a minute on each
yeah,
ship, so it doesn't
yeah,
matter.
sorry.
Yeah.
So she wanted to buy a car and didn't have the money. So Alf sold the plumbing fixtures from his ship, which apparently were made of solid gold.
Gold. Yeah, they were solid gold. So not to be spoiling anything, but I had to go look for a picture of the spaceship. Does that mean it actually made it in? And I couldn't really find a good one. All I found was something from the animated series, which I guess counts. But Alf ship from Alf is interesting. I thought it was the stupidest thing we would get, but no, we got worse. Axiom from Wally. Pretty cool.
Yeah, you know,
right.
that I gotta respect the Axiom because it's built to last. You're talking
Yeah.
about a generational ship built to. I mean, I don't know how they were fueling the thing, whether it's some kind of nuclear reactor
Methane.
or some kind of solar power. Methane, distinct
Human farm.
possibility, but you still have to take into account conservation of energy there. But apparently, you can get a Slurpee on this thing like hundreds of years in the future, probably. It's got the pool deck. I mean, it's one. It is one hell of a cruise ship to save humanity. I'll tell you that.
Yes, and I wonder how long before Disney decides to. Well, I guess there'd have to be more successful sequels to Wall-E, which hasn't happened yet. But if there were enough, you'd know we'd get a Disney's cruise ship that was named after the Axiom.
If you know, look, they waited 50 years between Incredibles 1 and Incredibles 2. I'm sure we're going to get something more with Wall-E eventually.
I just realized that this thing I'm looking at is zoomed in so much that every other. Wonder if I could make that better. Probably not. All right, so I skipped over Apollo 13 from Apollo 13. Significant movie. Hard to say that was the best spaceship. I think that's fair enough to say.
I'm going to have to deduct points for this one because it's real. And it actually did, make its way through a space disaster with actual MacGyvering in space. And that's the kind of stuff that I love in fiction and love in reality, but for some reason really makes me hate it here. There's no logic. There's no logic behind this. In this context, I really hate it.
Hate is the word you want to go with? You're doubling down on hate for the Apollo 13?
Yes.
Okay. Good enough. Battlestar Galactica from, let me look at this up. Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, that's a pretty, I mean, we didn't specify which Battlestar Galactica, the 70s one or the reboot. Let's just agree that it survived the whatever robot holocaust happened, and it's a memorable ship that is not a complete ripoff of Star Wars.
Yeah, unfortunately, I never saw I never saw any incarnation of Galactica. I know the theme music, great theme music, by the way. So I'm going to give it points based on that. It's got good music.
And to be clear, our points do not matter at all. This has already been determined. This is the seeding round, but we're going to do it anyways, giving points. Blue Midget from Red Dwarf. The entire Red Dwarf family of ships got nominated, which I was super happy about, and like got a decent amount of people, like, you know, multiple nominations, so that it wasn't just like a fluke of one person who liked the show. That one person being me and Rick, probably. We count as one person by the Lord. So yeah, Red Dwarf is a British a sci-fi comedy. It basically started off as like the entire gimmick was almost Gilligan's Island. It was like every episode was a bottle episode, because you're always in their room. There's this set in the far future with the last human being trying to find his way home, and it was a great sci-fi show, and
3 million
some
years out.
awesome memorable ships. Blue Midget was one of their escape vessels, one of their little vessels. It's one of the ones that's going to break my heart if it leaves the competition too soon, if it even made it.
You know what I love about the Blue Midget? It's got the legs, and there was the one episode where the cat made it dance, and he made the ship actually. I don't mean just a little bit like an Imperial Walker. He had that ship, you know, ready to go to the club, and and he used that to come on to his to come on to his female security officer. I mean, there is, and otherwise the ship did not get much use in the show, but that right there,
Right.
wow.
Yeah, Red Dwarf is going to be one of those that has a decent amount of nominees in this world, but it's nowhere near the Star Wars and Star Treks, despite the fact that we haven't seen a Star War or Star Trek yet. A Star War, great. Discovery 1 from 2001: Space Odyssey. Hey, hats off for the artistry of that film.
I've only seen 2001 a single time. I actually have a Kubrick boxed set that I need to watch so I can see it again. It blew me away when I saw it, and it had to be about 20 years ago now, because I think 2001 was made in 1969.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a movie made in the late 60s, but still the 60s, with an aesthetic that really did rival what came almost a decade later in Star Wars. I mean, it was, and there's little things you see in there that were so predictive, and it's not the ship itself, but you know, I think they had essentially an equivalent of like FaceTime or Skype.
Yeah,
in there, and this is once again, you know, 1969, and I mean, not that the Jetsons hadn't done that sort of thing before, but it was a much more realistic portrayal.
Yeah, the fact that that 2001 looks like it was created in a world where all this stuff actually does exist, because it for realism nails it more than obviously any of the Star Wars movies needed to. But like, and then the attention to detail on how physics and how modern humans would do space travel, including the gyroscopic function, the centrifuge that the astronaut is running through in the beginning. All these little details make it a really impressive spaceship, even though it's not the thing that you would immediately think of when you're like, I want a cool ass a spaceship to go. A fun fact from Dave, this is something I've heard before. HAL is IBM. Every letter is one off. True.
I had heard that, but that always bears repeating.
Yes. All right. Next on our list is Eagle 5, the Winnebago from Spaceballs. Almost called it Starballs. This is not bad. Honestly, I totally forgot about when we first talked about this competition. I was like, there's going to be one ship that's going to win. It's going to take away all the vote. And if I had to say that to you, Rick, which ship do you think, which ship do you think would be the one that's going to win no matter what?
Oh. You know, we haven't been. You might want to ask me that after we get to the end of the list. But
yeah, all right, because there was one that I had considered, and then the cool thing about this entire process is all these little things popped up, and not only are they just rare, like I'd forgotten about it, but I'd never put it in that context. And or I guess is it the Winnebago or is it an RV? Is it an actual Winnebago?
Well, what do you think the difference is? So, I mean, what do you know about campers?
Well, we're not going to get into it, but I wanted to know if it's specifically a Winnebago camper.
It was, yes.
Okay. You know what I know what I'm mixing it up with. Somebody else that shows up later in this list, which I will not get ahead of myself. So
I
yeah,
mean,
of course.
I mean, a Winnebago is a camper, like a thumb is a finger. Just doesn't work the other
Yes,
way around.
it could if you had enough surgery. But yes, an interesting choice to be put into this competition. Going straight down, we should probably go through this a
Yeah,
little quicker because everybody
probably.
knows what was seeded. We've got Eden Zero. I am going to breeze through this because if you're listening to
Yeah.
this, you know about the competition already, so you know the ones that got nominated. Just some ones that I just think are interesting. I never thought anybody would suggest it. George Jetson's car from the Jetsons. I
Mm.
actually had to look up whether or not that ever made it to space and
I
would
believe it
count
did.
as a. Oh, it did. It
Yeah.
did. There was at least one episode where it made it to space, so it counts. I think it's a cute reference. I think it's a. I would never have thought of it, but good.
Okay, you gotta love the way that thing sounds. See, ooh,
Oh yeah,
that sounds.
iconic sound. Goal. I'm not going to even read this. The B arc from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh yeah,
A deep cut. A
yeah,
deep cut. I would not have thought of that as a
yeah.
Hitchhiker's Guide ship, but
Res-
the
re-
what? I'm sorry. Go on.
res- responsible for all of humanity, but when I say responsible, in the sense that they really need to apologize for it.
Yes. Oh, the very, very worst of humanity seeded from that spaceship. But it did a cool thing. Gummy ship from Kingdom Hearts. Uh
I have no idea what that
Go to
is.
hell, whoever nominated that. Let's see. Okay, Gunstar 1 from the last Starfighter. That's pretty cool.
I don't think I've seen that.
It's good, and I it's a nice
Yeah,
reference.
I kind of know what that is. It's one of those movies that I should have seen 40 years ago. It's because it really feels like it's right up my alley. Haven't seen
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's definitely like 80s kid finds a video game and is considered uh, uh, our savior. All right,
I mean
so here's some. Yeah.
yeah, I mean that should be my religion, but
So HMS Bounty from specifically the Klingon bird of prey from Star Trek 4,
yes,
right? Yeah, 4.
Star Trek. Well, technically speaking, three because that was Christopher Lloyd's ship in three when he
I,
attacked Kirk, trying to get the uh, I think when at the Genesis planet. This was the movie after Khan,
yeah.
and they killed Kirk's son. And they pulled a switcheroo. They got Christopher Lloyd onto the Enterprise. They blew it up,
I'm
and
picturing this ship has an out of
yeah,
time license plate.
yeah. Well, that's the beautiful part about it because it's the second Christopher Lloyd time machine from the '80s, or when did Trek 4 come out? 86. So actually, it post dates Back to the Future by at least a year. So yes, second of three because then in '89 or 1990, you got the time travel train. So yeah, second Christopher Lloyd time machine from the '80s, and nobody thinks about that one.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd, man, he got it. All right. Yeah, so again, one I did not expect from the Star Trek universe, and our first one that we're talking about today, Klaatu Saucer from the Day the Earth Stood Still, super iconic, one of the
Mhm.
big flying saucer from the 50s is
Yeah.
known. 50s and 60s were known for flying saucer
Yeah.
movies, and this is one of the
Oh,
bigger ones.
oh, it was sleek,
Yeah.
but that's about all I know about it. But it was a good looking ship.
Jupiter 2 from Lost in Space, also super iconic, and but it's also like it's kind of the minnow of that show, right? So it
Yeah.
wasn't really like doing a lot of sailing or space travel.
Well, I think that it depends on the incarnation of the Lost in Space you're talking about, because I mean,
True.
I really have seen almost none of the original series. I did see and remember enjoying the 1998 movie,
Mhm.
which even then I watched it without a lot of context, so it's a kind of its own thing. I mean, I knew what
Was
Lost in
Matt
Space was.
LeBlanc in that movie?
He was. And
Yeah.
then I have binged the new Netflix series, and between the '98 movie and the new Netflix series, the Jupiter 2 actually does see a lot of action.
Oh, that's cool. Good, good. I mean, Gary Coleman, who I think was also in the 92 or the 90 movie. right? Gary Coleman wasn't he Dr.
Gary Oldman.
Gary?
Yeah, you're not.
Yes! Make this movie! Somebody, please. There's got to be enough footage of Gary Coleman to edit him into the 90s Lost in Space.
What you talking about, Dr. Smith?
Yes! Oh, man.
Is it
Gary Coleman and Gary Oldman. Yeah. What you talking about? Wow. Oh, yeah, we're doing something here.
We were?
Yeah, I guess. What? Boo. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out what got 0 votes. Who cares? Luke's X-Wing. I'm going to say something controversial. He doesn't even have a name. I don't even know the name of Luke's X-Wing. I mean, it's cool.
Well,
I would love that toy, but
I will possibly argue you on that point, because you look at episode 9, and when Rey recovers the ship from the sea on Octu, where Luke's ghost shows her, it's in the water, and she takes the fly off to Exegol and defeat the First Order. I think is how it went. When it showed up back on the Resistance's radar, they're all like, "Hey, everybody, it's Red 5." So maybe the ship might actually conceivably be called Red 5.
I don't care. So okay, I'm not even going to be able to see this one. Moya from Farscape. Yes. Where my Farscape head's at. I don't know if we have a name for our fandom.
Deep cut. I saw some episodes of that, but it was a long time ago.
I love Farscape. It probably almost more than any. It's weird. So I love Lost in Space, kind of like lone astronaut trying to make his way home stories. And despite the fact that that's been around forever, Farscape is the one that made me love that more than anything else. It's a Jim Henson sci-fi original series. Lots of cool puppets, and Moya was an awesome organic ship, had personality, had a lot of cool concepts and conceits that went along with it about ownership and veganism. Like, there's a lot of really deep thoughts that go into what Moya is, and Pilot, who is paired forever with Moya, this multi-armed alien thing that is kind of the pilot of this sentient animal spaceship. It's hard to describe. If you love it, you love it. I think the biggest problem with Farscape is that so few people really love it, right? It doesn't have the wide appeal of Star Trek or Star Wars.
I think it also falls victim to just the time and context in which it was made. I think it was Spaceship. Was it Sci-Fi Channel or is it syndicated TV? I keep forgetting.
I think it was Sci-Fi Channel, but I may just be remembering how I saw it.
But whatever it was, it didn't. I mean, it really did not have the production budget to back up the concept. Not well enough, anyway. Close.
I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe I don't know. I think Sci-Fi was just hard.
Yeah.
Like this, as in the channel, it was just hard to get anything really popular and wide appeal. Moonbase Alpha, I want to mention, it from Space 1999. Do you remember that, Rick?
Never seen it. I know of it, but never.
Somebody made a joke about the moon. I think Big Papa Pete made the joke about the moon being the best spaceship or whatever. I don't remember the context of it. I think the movie Moonfall. But the moon in Space 1999 did have rockets on it and was hurling through space. That was the spaceship they were in, and I think that was a cute little reference. And it's a 60s sci-fi show. I think British, really good. But we'll move on. Outlaw Star from Outlaw Star, cool, awesome. Like to see some anime in there. There are some great ships from that franchise. I'm gonna leave because I know, Rick, you don't know anything about it. If anybody has something they want to share in the comments, please do, and we'll pop it up on screen. But we do have limited time, so we're gonna bullet through many more of these. Pearl's Volkswagen from MST3K.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who was the first to nominate that, but it was genius. I love it. I love that Pearl's Volkswagen. We may get Mary Jo to come on if she wins. So let's everybody vote for Pearl's Volkswagen. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
The satellite I love also gets a nom. It was controversial. It's a satellite, not a spaceship necessarily, but it moves through space. Death Star didn't even get a nom.
Yeah.
But you know, I
What
think
yeah,
I
what I
think the
love
Volkswagen works.
Yeah, what I love about that one is that I mean, I do own an old VW bus myself, not that old, but it aside from essentially slapping wings and a couple of rocket engines on it, it is completely unchanged. You have to assume that it's still running on the original like 1950s air-cooled engine,
Of course, yeah,
which
yeah,
they made work in a space with no air. This
and
is
it's
how I'm
just
assuming it works. Yeah.
and it's just, I think I know we talked about this back in the day. I think it was just the exhaust was making it go forward because the exhaust is coming out of the tailpipe. Maybe, who knows? What else do we have? We have that of no Planet Express delivery ship from Futurama. I hope Bessie makes it all the way. She's a great little ship. I love it.
I don't know. The thing I find slightly implausible about that ship is that we never really see a problem with it, and we know Professor Farnsworth built it. I mean, his stuff generally tends to work, but the ship works a little too perfectly for something he's had his hands on. So I suspect I suspect there was some outside contractor work in there.
Yeah, probably, and a lot of Bondo. An R-wing was nominated. I'm gonna jump right over that. Razor Crest from The Mandalorian, a brand new Star Wars vehicle that is, spoiler alert, can I?
Go for it.
Completely destroyed. Yeah, so I don't.
Well, here's the thing. I'm working my way through the Boba Fett show right now,
Yeah,
and Mando, he makes reference to another character that he's looking for another Razor Crest. So I mean, part of me it got it in the feels here, like, oh, I thought the Razor Crest was the name of the ship. I thought that was just his own special name for it, but it seems like that's the class of ship.
yeah, I think so. I think it's just a class of ship, and I don't know. I think it's got a lot of name recognition, and we'll talk about how the seating came out in a few minutes. But I don't know. Like, there's something about
Yeah,
they did blow it up from multiple angles,
yeah.
which I made me feel very 80s TV show.
But
If you remember when it goes,
one of the things I love is, I mean, I always love the home built angle on almost everything, and the fact that, I mean, it was torn apart by Jawas, and he effectively, welded it back together himself in the middle of the frickin' Tatooine desert.
true.
And I
Yeah,
want to say there was another point in which they were doing like major major repairs to the point where they're also duct taping over the holes and then just not looking at it. Like,
Yeah, rebuilding it while it's flying. Yeah, that is really cool, and I do like the do-it-yourself aspect of some of these spaceships. Red Dwarf finally gets a nom. We're finally down to Red Dwarf, the titular vessel from the amazing, long-running British sci-fi comedy series Red Dwarf. It is a giant asteroid mining vessel that is the home of the last human in the universe, and it's hilarious. Really, I
mhm.
cannot recommend it highly enough. Uh, on our list, we've got and of course, there's a sentient AI in charge of Red Dwarf who is
Oh yeah,
hilarious and a little wonky
Ollie.
because he's millions of years on his own. Holly, he has the IQ. He had what, like 1,000 IQ, or the IQ of 1,000 PE teachers. Very British. The repurposed Area 51 chip from Independence Day. Okay, I think that's kind
Love
of
that
cute.
one. For the
Yeah,
same this thing belongs in a junkyard kind of feel.
yeah. I like the somebody once described, like, why is that ship coming? Like, what was going through the mother alien ship brain when they see this 1950s car coming up on them? Uh, we've got the Righteous Indignation from Bucky O'Hare, deserves extra points just for name alone. Um, what else do we want to go through? A couple of Gundams, some ships from Macross, the Normandy from Mass Effect, some video game ships. I'm not belittling these, but I don't know enough to share anything about it, and we want to get to the seating. Halo ships. Samus's ship from Metroid, which is cool, but if you have to refer to it as Samus ship, then maybe it doesn't have a name. I don't know. I think like all of these should have had a name. Scooty Puff Jr. for Futurama, yay.
Hmm.
Scooty
Love
Puff
it.
Jr. sucks.
It guarantees safe fun.
Yeah. Serenity from Firefly got nominated, of course. People are still beating the drum on that show, as I think if they actually did get a second season, people would be very upset. Silver Surfer's Surfboard, kind of a stretch, but thinking outside the box. Slave One from Star Wars, that's Boba Fett's ship, which
Was it
of
also
course.
Jango Fett's ship?
Oh, I don't know if it was originally Jango Fett's. Probably.
I think it
Right?
was.
Yeah. I think it's a cool ship. It didn't really get my vote because I'm like, all right, it's fine. Of all the Star Wars ships, I can live without that. And I don't need a competition that's nothing but Star Wars ships, which is maybe a stupid reason to vote. But remember, voting is stupid.
Always.
Space Battleship Yamato. A foundational anime. We might be watching an anime lunch coming up. Very, very, very cool. The Space Hoopty from Homeboys in Outer Space. Who nominated that?
Once again,
God, that's not appropriate. And Spaceball 1, also right on the line. It feels more like a space station, but it does transform into the Statue of Liberty, or Maid, whatever. Statue of Maid.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry, go on.
Sorry, just before we gloss over that one, yeah, the Space Hoopty definitely should not have made it past a crazy nomination. It doesn't belong here.
I will tell you this.
I'll take the blame. I'll take the blame on that.
Space Hoopty did not make it past. Did not seed into the competition.
Oh, thank God.
That one. Yeah. Spaceman Spiff's ship from Calvin and Hobbes, an amazing nomination. Love it. Absolutely. Starbug from Red Dwarf. We talked a lot about Red Dwarf. Starbug actually getting much more traffic on the show than Blue Mission.
Named my car after Starbug.
Starship Titanic from the Douglas Adams video game. Cool.
Did I nominate this whole list? Because that's another one of mine.
No, we filtered through. We did filter through. Yeah. A lot of people nominated things. One of the other rules people didn't follow was they would nominate things other people have already nominated. Yeah. The Tardis, I think that's a genius. It is a space vessel. Yeah, I think that works. It's considered most people think of it as like a time machine or like a dimension hopping machine, but it's also a space travel machine. I think that counts.
I think it stands for time and relative distance in space, isn't that?
It's right there in the name. Yeah. That's me doo-dooting. The Arcadia from Space Pirate Captain Harlock, another cool anime. The Bebop from Cowboy Bebop, really cool. I didn't even realize that the Bebop was the name of the ship, and it was like a fishing vessel. The Benatar from Guardians of the Galaxy. So here's the thing. People nominated both of Peter Quill's ships from Guardians of the Galaxy and named them. I had no idea he named them after 80s pop stars.
I knew that, but I had forgotten about the Benatar.
There's the Benatar, and I can't remember what the other one is, but
the Milano.
You might come up. Yeah, Milano, yeah. The Defiant, Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Love the Defiant. That is, they didn't even hide it. I mean, the first time they brought it on screen, they said that this was built to be the toughest ship the Federation ever built to take on the Borg, and it's way overpowered, so much so that you turn the engines on, it's going to tear itself apart. So you got to fix this thing before you actually use it. If you look at the first episode of St. Pearson.
I have a soft spot for the Defiant, even though it's probably part of my least favorite Star Trek series. I don't hate Voyager at all.
That was DS9.
DS9.
That's DS9.
What am I thinking of? I'm thinking about the wrong ship. I'm thinking about they had a what was the name of the transport vessel from Voyager?
The Delta Flyer.
Delta Flyer is what I've been thinking about this entire time.
No, I'm talking about Cisco's ship here.
Yeah,
I think I did. I think I did nominate the Delta Flyer also, but no, the Defiant, much different ship.
Yeah, Delta Flyer, Dave. Yeah, I did not. I don't think Delta Flyer was nominated. It may have been. Oh, it is. Yeah, it's definitely here. Hold on. alphabetical order screws me up again. The Defiant is what Rick was talking about. I'm talking about the next one on the list, which is the Delta Flyer. Okay. Yeah, so the Defiant I'm not too familiar with because I haven't watched a lot of what many people say is the best or at least one of the best modern Star Trek shows.
Having
I
rewatched it,
really want to get through.
yeah, I rewatched it last year, and it feels more relevant now than it was 30 years ago. It's great.
Yeah, it was a timing issue at the time it was on, and I've never gotten through it, and I want to. And I want to get back to our Star Trek rewatch for those of you who are part of that watching right now. But yeah, so to transition to the Delta Flyer, because the Defiant was cool, but I really don't remember it too well. So my soft spot for the Delta Flyer is that it was such a dorky thing. I don't know. It was just Voyager was very hit or miss for me. There were parts of it that were really great and parts of it that were really fun, and then a lot of it that was just like, I don't care about this arc. And the Delta Flyer was just this goofy little thing.
The thing is, I liked it. I liked the concept, but it didn't really seem to do enough. I mean, it didn't really do enough in the story or on screen to justify them paying any attention to them home building a better shuttle.
It felt like they were trying to move toys, which Star Trek never really did, right? Like Star Trek isn't known for its like, oh, and this is the R wing, this is the A wing, like it doesn't do that. So it felt weird, but I kind of like that they were trying stuff on that show. So I have a soft spot for it, but yeah, I don't know. The Event Horizon, one of the best movies ever made.
Oh, I've only seen that once or twice. I mean, but the thing is, I saw it maybe on video about a year after it came out. It was a bit intense for me at the time.
Yeah, and you don't need eyes where we're going.
Indeed.
You don't need eyes to see. The Executor, Darth Vader's TIE fighter.
I didn't know it had a name.
I think I did know that, but I mean, it was. I thought it was a TIE bomber for some reason because his vehicle looked different than the other TIE fighters, right? The other TIE fighters have the flat panels, and he had that kind of conical thing.
It's his Super Star Destroyer, not his TIE fighter.
You're right, because I'm pretty sure his TIE fighter was a TIE bomber. I think it was just a slightly different vehicle. So this is his Super Star Destroyer. That means whoever nominated it got it wrong, which means eliminated out of the competition, even though it was very highly seated. Too bad. The Freedom, the X-71 military shuttle from Armageddon. Okay. The Ghost from Star Wars Rebels. Cool. I love that show. It was actually really good. I haven't gotten through the entire, even the entire first season yet, I have to admit. But I really enjoyed it. Great Fox from Star Fox. I think of all the video game noms we got, I'm impressed with. That's probably one of my favorite ones. The Great Space Coaster.
Deep cut.
Oh, you know what? We have more details from our viewer Dave. He had the TIE Advance, not a bomber. The thing that looked like a bomber was actually hyperdrive, or Bombay was a hyperdrive. Cool. Thank you. And that's, of course, in reference to the Great Space Coaster.
Of course.
The Great Space Coaster. The Heart of Gold from Hitchhiker's Guide.
The Infinite Improbability Drive. Love it.
I think I nominated this, and it occurred to me, I was going through the list. I'm like, I don't want to get multiple nominees from the same like big hitters, the ships that are definitely going to, be the top seeds in this competition. So let me think about what those are and get them out of the way right away so we could get deeper cuts and people could think about it. And I was about to put in I think Serenity, or my fourth choice was like this throwaway thing that I didn't want. And then it occurred to me, I'm like, I have to nominate the Heart of Gold, the Infinite Improbability Drive. For those of you who have not watched or read or listened to any Hitchhiker's Guide, immediately stop listening to this.
Stop everything, not just stop the broadcast. Stop your life and read these books.
Indeed. and then go back in time and read it when you're at a foundational point in your childhood, because then it will matter. We got Ships from the Arrival, which is probably the most recent movie. We have, well, maybe some of the Guardians of the Galaxy. The Milano gets a nod. The Millennium Falcon, what a surprise! We finally got to. You know what? We're getting at the those.
Yeah.
So Millennium Falcon from Star Wars has been nominated.
And I love that the first thing anybody says about it is, "What a piece of junk." That is literally the first description we get of the Millennium Falcon. I mean, not not chronologically in the movies, but that's the first thing anybody watching the movies in release order ever heard. What a piece of junk!
And still absolutely amazing. I think more than anything, probably because the original toy was so cool. The mothership from Independence Day got in. The NSEA
Protector
from Galaxy Quest. Another deep cut I would have totally not thought of, but perfect.
I hear you. Just a moment on the Protector there. Love Galaxy Quest is, I maintain, one of my absolute favorite Star Trek movies, and I count it because they got it spot on, and yet it's not so much making fun of it as it is just having fun with the concept. Love it. And what I specifically love about the Protector in that movie is that it's not even, I mean, in that universe, the show was fiction, and this is what the aliens built based on the show. So it's not even an Earth ship. This is an alien ship designed by aliens. It's like if
cosplay.
Aliens actually built the Enterprise based on watching the TV show, and then abducted Shatner and made him fly it. I mean,
you still can aliens,
and it's got all the it's got all the tropes, the bad writing. Like there's a point where, for those of you who haven't seen it, and it's a comedy, where Tim Allen and Sigourney Weaver have to run through the center of the ship, and there's these big mechanical chompers in the middle of the ship, and they have to run through this in order to get away from the aliens. And Sigourney Weaver's like, "This was a poorly written episode."
Sigourney Weaver's having a breakdown, going, "Why did we build this? Why is this even here? What's this room for?"
There's no logical reason something like this should be powering a starship. None.
So good. Speaking of Sigourney Weaver, the Nostromo from Alien, very iconic, cool. Another one of those, not quite as realistic as like Discovery 1 from Space Odyssey, but still like a grim portent of our future in space, humanity's future in space. The Orville, which is, I think, another great Star Trek series. Much more straight than you would think. Much more like done without, not just gags at Star Trek's expense.
I think I've only seen the first 3 episodes, but I did like it.
Yeah. The Phoenix from Star Trek First Contact. Bravo. That's a good nom. That's a good one.
Love that one.
A spaceship built like duct taped by a crazy person in the woods.
Yeah, but basically built by some drunk guy in his garage to make money.
Yes.
And it ends up ushering this new era of humanity. He's like, "No, I wanted money and naked women. I didn't want the Vulcans. I wanted to get rich."
The Spear of Selene, spoilers for DuckTales, but yeah, that is a cute reference. I love that, and it's like an iconic style of spaceship.
And yet, once again, welded back together out of gold on the moon by somebody who's at least half crazy at that point.
Right. There's a lot of insane people building spaceships in this. The Swordfish from Cowboy Bebop, good choice. The Thunder Road from the Explorers. That's another one of those 80s deep cut movies. I love it.
Probably one of Ethan Hawke's first movies.
Yeah. The Titanic from Futurama, which I almost thought we had done already, but whatever.
Well, no, because you had the Starship Titanic from the Douglas Adams video game.
Yeah.
So there's two Titanics.
And we're rounding up the list right now. The Vulture from Andy Griffith's Salvage One. I had not heard of this show until you brought it up. Mm-hmm. I need to see it. It sounds so much fun.
The fact that Andy Griffith had a show where he built a spaceship to go to the moon and salvage the stuff from the Apollo mission so he could just bring it back to Earth and sell it. I mean, that's what it was about. He was a junk man in space.
It's so good.
And you'd think it plays like Sanford and Son, but as I understand it, it played way more serious.
So we're gonna a couple other classics like the United Planet Cruiser from Forbidden Planet is in there. What else do I want to do? USG Ishimura from Dead Space. Okay. But let's get even the USS Palomino from the Black Hole gets a nom, which is a pretty deep cut. But let's go to the ones that we know, the USs that are coming out here. USS Enterprise. Iconic ship, any version of the Enterprise. And we did not. There was a time. Do I have a favorite? I have a warm place in my heart for the original, from the original series, but the Enterprise D from
Next Generation
is probably my first one that I spent a lot of time living in, right, at night watching reruns and syndicated episodes.
Well, briefly, my favorite incarnation has to be, once again, going back to Star Trek 3. This is because if you remember the end of Star Trek 2, Khan has just walloped the Enterprise and it limped back to Earth and it is practically destroyed. So in Trek 3, they steal the ship without really having repaired any of the damage, and they fly it off on a mission, just barely holding together to save Spock, and Scotty's got like 3 people running the ship. It's all patched together, and Scotty can do it. And then at the end, it goes out in a blaze of glory because, like I said, the aforementioned self-destruct to kill the Klingons.
Yeah.
So that's that final refit, last appearance of the original Enterprise. That is my absolute favorite appearance of that ship.
That is a good choice. I think we could have done this entire competitions with just different Enterprises going against each other. Of course, everybody who isn't into Star Trek, everybody who wasn't into Star Trek would be like, I don't care. I can't tell the difference between any of those, so we can't do that. We were even at a time going to use them as the names of the regions, but we'll get to that in a minute. We didn't do that. And then the USS Excelsior, actually, also a Star Trek nod in there. Was that Sulu's ship?
It was eventually Sulu's ship. Its first appearance was once again Star Trek 3, because Scotty sabotaged it so it couldn't chase after the Enterprise, which they stole.
Oh, I'm sorry. I left off the most important Star Trek vessel of all time. The USS Swine Trek from the Muppet Show, who's going to run away with this competition. All right. So, as promised, I said that we were going to go into what the results of the seeding was. So this is big controversial news, big announcement from all for non-pro diehards. One of the worst things we have to do in these competitions is determine the regions, which are very important, because it's not like the 64th least popular goes up against the first most, and then throughout. You have to divide it up into regions. So in, let's say, the best desserts category, you can find the best frozen dessert, you can find the best pastry, etc. It never works out. People always go crazy for the regions, no matter what we decide. We were trying to do it from size of vessel. We have some generational ships in this, some fighters, maybe we can mix them up that way. It never works out. So we purely randomized it within itself, so that there are all these like 1 seeds and there was like 4 1 seeds and 4 16 seeds and all the other ones together, and then they mixed it up. It is the fairest we've ever done this competition. And I will now take your hate and your rage and your disgust with me, because that's all that there is. That's all that there ever is. All right. So I think it'll be fun to talk about what the what made it in. Just listing 64 different vessels sounds ridiculous. So what do you want to do? You want to do like 2 from each region. That will be, yeah, that sounds fair. All
What's
right.
region?
Yeah, good. Remember, there's supposed to be no follow-up questions. So in region A, the first round is going to go to the Millennium Falcon is going to go up against the United Planets Cruiser C57D from Forbidden Planet. That's region A. So Millennium Falcon, top seed, to let you know. Other top seeds, the top 4 seeds in this region are the Millennium Falcon, the Tardis, Satellite of Love, and the Nostromo. Up against things like the B-Arc, Star Fox's ship, and this vessel from Forbidden Planet. All right, on region B, Serenity from Firefly is going up against the Heptapod from Arrival. I haven't even seen that movie, but it's supposed to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Other top seeds in region B are Spaceballs 1, Planet Express delivery ship, and the USS Excelsior. Ooh, okay. Region C. The first battle is going to be the Eagle 5, the Winnebago from Spaceballs. Yes, the Winnebago from Spaceballs beat Spaceballs 1, both in movie and in reality. And it's going up against Moonbase Alpha from Space 1999. That's ridiculous. Other top seeds in this region are the Razor Crest, the Heart of Gold from Hitchhiker's Guide, and the Milano from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Nice.
And then finally in region D, we've got the first battle is going to be the USS Enterprise up against the Vulture from Andy Griffith's Salvage Plot. Oh, it's gonna be so good. I hope it wins. I hope the Vulture wins. Other top seeded things in this region or spaceships in this region are the Bebop, Luke's X-Wing, which is all on Luke, and the NSEA Protector from Galaxy Quest.
Oh yeah!
Wow, I can't believe it made it. I actually am a little surprised that it made it in. It's a great movie, don't get me wrong, but so at this point, people who are watching can ask if something got in, and I'll read it. I don't think we should just go down the list. We've already been at this for an hour and 3 minutes. The full bracket will be published tomorrow on Non-Pro, on our Discord, and on our Facebook group. So non-productive.com to find links to both of those. Our Facebook group is super active. Our Discord is pretty active. We like it to be more active. And we're going to do voting a little different this time. We're going to put it all up at once so that we're not doing round by round by round as individual posts throughout the week, because we don't have that much more left in March, and because I think it'll be more fun if everybody could just go there and vote. I don't believe the Macros or the Academia made it in. Somebody asked in the chat. I don't think either of them did. Hold on. Did either of them make it? No, Macros did not make it in. And the Arcadia. I said Academia. And, oh, okay. The Arcadia did make it in. It's in the same region as, it's region B, so the same region as Spaceballs 1, Serenity. Ugh, sorry about that. And the Planet Express delivery ship. It's got some tough competition, but it's actually cool. One of the cool things about this, if you get a low seed, if you're like not well voted, you have a pretty easy fight. For if you're like middle seed, you have some easy fights of other weak people. If you're really low seed, you're up against impossible to beat odds. But that's kind of why we like these things. We like these stories of spaceships going up against impossible odds, unless they, of course, are like the Death Star, in which case they are the impossible odd. Colin fell apart at the end, didn't it? All right. I don't know if we're going to do more recaps. It'll be easier in upcoming rounds, but Rick, you're definitely welcome to join at any point.
Thank you.
This is super fun. Super thanks to all our patrons. I shouldn't have said patrons, who threw in some cash to make sure that this happens. Oh, that was an older thing. Screw those other people. These are some of the new. I think there were supposed to be several pages of this that I didn't put up. Oh crap! I didn't talk about book club, and there's like at least one person who's going to be mad about this. So I have an idea. Rick, you don't read for pleasure or actually for religious reasons, right?
What's reading?
Yeah, good. So I have an idea for book club. I really want to do it this time around. If I could get enough people to agree that this is a good book that we should read. One of my favorite authors has put out that. Oh, would have been nice if this was framed to right. Hi, everybody. I'm over here in the corner. One of my favorite authors put out a book, the Kaiju Preservation Society, John Scalzi. Scalzi? I've never pronounced his name. I've only ever written it and read it. Anyways, it's great. He's a great author. I love his sci-fi. I'm kind of jonesing for sci-fi because of this March Madness and because the last book club we did was such a good success, such a huge success and fun. So, hey, if you're interested in reading that and you've seen this video, somehow contact me telepathically or maybe in the comments of these videos, and then let me know that that you're interested and we could do it. I'm sorry. We have some comments that I did not read. Oh, Outlaw Star and Galactica. Outlaw Star. Galactica definitely made it. Outlaw Star made it. It's in C region. It is up against, it's in the same as region as Eagle 5, the Winnebago, and the Razor Crest. So good luck with that. The Galactica, I think, was also in Region B. Everybody's asking about Region B. Maybe this wasn't so well randomized. I still don't care. All right. The full list will be published tomorrow on our social medias and on our website, non-productive.com. Thank you, Rick, so much for joining us. Do you have anything you want to plug? Anything that you're doing that you want people to pay attention to? Are you meeting anyone at in a dark alley? Do you want to do that?
No.
Okay. So we have a thing, advice for everyone: vote like your life depends on it, because it does.
I just want to say it was good to kill an hour away from reality.
Of course, that's pretty much our mission statement at Non-Pro.
And everybody, just to reiterate, let's pick the best ship here because I need to get off this planet.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Goodbye, everybody. Here's the end music.